Hi, this is Chris Newmarker. I'm editor of Medical Design Outsourcing at MassDevice Resource. I'm at DeviceTalks Minnesota, where we have hundreds of medical device professionals learning the latest about the industry. Here on the Exhibitor floor, let's go out and find out some of the expertise to be had here. I'm here with Heath Payton from Green Hill Software. There's been an increase in cyber attacks on medical devices in recent years. Heath, what kind of measures can device companies take to mitigate this?
Well, at the beginning, you really have to understand how to protect the device. And so it has to be designed in from day one and understanding exactly what this device is going to do. Because as you know, devices are getting more complex and they're getting more connected to the world. And when you're talking about life critical systems, you need to make sure that those critical systems are immune to cyber attacks.
So what are some of the things that you can do to prevent it?
And so when you're talking about designing the systems, you need to make sure that you have an operating system that has achieved a level of rigor that does not have any holes in them, such as critical vulnerabilities. You need to do also...
So like off-the-shelf Windows or Linux, that's not going to work.
It's not going to work for you. And so there are certain operating systems like ours that have achieved this level of rigor that does not have any vulnerabilities found against it. And so starting with the building blocks at that level, and then building your device applications with the same rigor on top of that. Another piece of the puzzle that people will also want to implement is securing that critical information from prying eyes, such as encryption. You really want to have on-device encryption implemented to protect PHI and PII information, so that's one aspect of it. But also, you want to have encryption in the communication links to these connected devices. It also prevents, again, prying eyes and cyber attacks from getting into the device from the outside in.
That's great advice, Heath. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm standing here with Ted Dale. Ted's a senior research engineer at Abbott. And Abbott at the show is showing off this model of their HeartMate 3 LVAD, which is it's a great improvement on previous HeartMate LVADs that Abbott's been offering. Ted, explain a little bit more about what's new and better about the HeartMate 3.
Yeah, some of the features is the mag level pump that's actually inside of this piece here. The outside motor mechanisms there, and this is a drive cable that actually connects to the controller and the battery. Inside here is where the pump actually impeller that's suspended from a magnetic level that actually is the only piece that's in contact with the blood. And then it pumps from the ventricle through this tube back into the aorta, giving oxygenated blood back to the body and the heart first itself, so that the ventricle's not functioning as well.
You basically can't use blood as a lubricant because you've got to avoid clots.
Yeah, exactly. Blood is wet, right? It's a lubricant to kind of help cool things, lets the body temp. Most of this is all titanium pieces, so it's not really affected by the temperature, but you're actually moving blood with a titanium component.
So having that color suspended through magnets it improves that, makes sure that it helps reduce and eliminate clotting.
Yeah, absolutely. The pump running and the gaps and everything there is to eliminate any of the stasis that might happen to some of the older pumps. So there's no blood that's sitting still. It's actually moving constantly. And with the motor control, you're actually starting to get pulsing too, so they can control that blood pulse with the motor.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yep, so you take some of the ventricle load off of the heart and it gives you a much better... People are, they're hurting by the time they need this, so this is just a really good alternative.
Sounds like a great improvement.
Yep, definitely.
I'm here with Greg Paulson from Xometry. Xometry is a Maryland-based company that's offering 3D printing services to medical device companies. Greg, describe a little more about what your company does.
Yeah, so Xometry solves this problem of procurement. So one of the issues that you always have is that you are trying to find the right manufacturer to do this job, and sometimes you get pricing that's all over the place if you get it back from different manufacturers. Xometry actually has plugged AI and machine learning right into a web-based platform. When you upload a 3D CAD model to xometry.com, so that's Xometry, it will actually instantly spit out a price and lead time, and that's actionable. You can order that right away. We offer 11 different technologies, 7 of which are 3D printing technologies, and then we also have traditional ones like injection mold, sheet metal, CNC, and urethane casting. But kind of the beauty for us is for medical devices, if we're able to help on that iteration from the conceptual stage, so like very rapid, 2 to 3 business day lead time iterations, all the way up to validations where you have some materials that could be processed for sterilization, and then even moving to things like injection mold where you're working it into a production environment. So we're able to scale with those manufacturers with those engineers without needing to change manufacturers or a one-stop shop.
You're telling me that you're doing some cool stuff with carbon, which is, kind of one of the neat stories in the 3D printing space right now.
This is my stress ball here. So this is the carbon EPU, elastomeric polyurethane, but we are the first company to offer carbon 3D printing. We have 7 materials, and we'll add some along the way as well. But what's unique about this is usually I have a trade-off where I can have a very pretty part, like printed in SLA, but over time this will kind of yellow and brittle because actually all this UV light is actually continuously curing it. And then I can also have a highly functional part, like say this one I printed in metal here, so this is DMLS, but you can see the surface finish is inherently rough to it. Carbon kind of blends those two together by actually printing like an SLA print almost, where it actually cures from a liquid resin.
It rises up out of the resin.
It rises up out of this resin, and then it'll actually be post-thermally cured to activate these inherent properties in the material that give us end-use results. So the print is an end-use part. And so whether you're prototyping on those one-offs or you're actually making hundreds of these parts or more, you could actually scale with the carbon platform throughout your product development process. So it's really, really exciting.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you. This is Chris Newmarker from MDO. Thanks again for watching.